Markets end at record highs after 7th gains in a row. Sensex gains more than 100 points. Nifty ends a tad below the 7,800 mark. TCS market cap shoots past 5 lakh crore rupees. The IT major is now way ahead of the combined market cap of IT services players like Infosys, Wipro and HCL Technologies. Transport Minister Nitin Gatkari says all grey areas in speeding up road PPP projects will be resolved before August 15th. Finance Secretary Arvind Mayram says that the government is working on a sophisticated framework for PPP model to boost infrastructure development. And finally, is the Indian IT industry biased against women? A survey suggests only 30% of the total IT sector workforce in India are women. Women also faces a huge gender pay gap of 29%. Hello and welcome to Business Wrap. I am Sidhant Sibal, and another stellar day for the markets. Sensex gained 122 points to end at 26,147. It was a record closing high for the Sensex. Nifty gained 28 points to end at 7796, just 3 points short of that crucial 8,000 levels. Gains for the key benchmark indices were driven by up move in the Asian and European stocks. IT stocks gained on positive economic data in US, the biggest outsourcing market for the Indian IT firms. TCS rose after the company announced a new partnership with MapR Technologies Inc. PSU OMC edged higher as crude oil prices declined. Among the 30 shares Sensex pack, 16 stocks declined and rest of them rose. Gainers on the chart were Infosys, Hindalco, TCS, Wipro and Mahindra, which were up by between 4 to 1%. Losers on the chart were Tata Steel, Tata Power, Maruti Suzuki, ONGC and Axis Bank, which were down by between 2 to 1%. The market breadth indicating the overall health of the market was negative. Well, on to global market action. Most Asian stocks hedged higher, boosted by better than expected inflation and housing reports in the US. Key benchmark indices in Hong Kong, China, Singapore and Indonesia were up by between 0.14% to 0.8%. Key benchmark indices in Japan and South Korea were off by between 0.03% to 0.1%. The stock markets in Taiwan were closed due to a typhoon. On to European market action. The European stocks edged higher as a risk aversion triggered by recent geopolitical tensions continued to ebb. Key benchmark indices in UK, France and Germany were up by between 0.03% to 0.43%. Meanwhile, rupee closing figures are out. The rupee rose almost 15 paise to end at over 1 week high level of 60.09 versus the US dollar. Continuing with the news, Union Road and Transport and Shipping Minister Nitin Gatkari has said that he would sort out all issues related to stuck road projects by August the 15th. He would also go into capacity building of both government and private sector. Nitin Gatkari also said that no highway projects would be bid out without 80% land acquisition. Listen in.
Low cost अगर हमारा रोड बनेगा तो वायबिलिटी बढ़ेगी, IRR बढ़ेगा और इंटरेस्ट रेट भी कम चाहिए, कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन भी कम चाहिए और ट्रैफिक डेंसिटी बढ़नी चाहिए, तब आपको वायबिलिटी आएगी। मैं पीपीपी मॉडल के बारे में मैं बहुत आगे भविष्य के लिए आशा मन में अच्छा पॉजिटिव अप्रोच रखता हूँ, बट प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन में इसमें मार्ग निकालते समय बहुत दिक्कत है और मैंने तय किया है कि 15 अगस्त के पहले पेंडिंग इश्यू को खत्म करें।
So 15th August is the date. Meanwhile, Finance Secretary Arvind Mayram today said that the government is working on a sophisticated and flexible framework for PPP or public-private partnership model to boost infrastructure development in the country. As regards the risks associated with the PPP projects, Mayram said that risks should be shared between private sector and the government sector.
The new government has a vision for creating a completely new paradigm for infrastructure in the country, starting with 100 smart cities, for instance, which the Prime Minister has spoken of. Marrying private money with and management with government's determination to have infrastructure in place, I think is a very potent force, and I think the results we will be able to see not too distant in the future if we do the things right.
Well, now news from the IT sector. India's largest IT services provider, Tata Consultancy Services or TCS, today became the company with highest market capitalization. The company's stock price hit a 52-week high on the Bombay Stock Exchange at 2,580.60 rupees, taking its market cap over 500,000 crore rupees. It also left behind peers like Bangalore-based Infosys, Wipro and TCS Technologies. TCS market cap at 12:17 p.m. and wait a minute, because the number now is almost like 5,03,804 crore rupees. That's a huge amount. It was way ahead of the combined market cap of IT services players like Infosys, Wipro and HCL Technologies. TCS market cap was also much higher than companies like ONGC and Reliance Industries. TCS, among the industry players, have been delivering better than expected numbers and has also managed to beat street expectations. Well, continuing with the news from the IT sector, and this is perhaps not a good news. Gender pay gap in the IT industry is as high as 29% according to Monster.com's salary index, which states that a male IT worker receives a gross salary of 359.25 rupees per hour, while female receives 254.04 rupees per hour. This disparity possibly emerges from the fact that men get promoted to supervisory positions more than women. Reacting to the report, industry experts said that there is a strong need to create equal opportunities for all employees, especially women, who are a key contributor to the industry.
Is the IT industry biased? Female employees of IT firms are paid up to 29% less when compared to male employees. A phenomena that is attributed to the fact that more women don't take up higher designations, according to a new study. While hourly wages of an average male non-supervisor is around 255.32 rupees, female non-supervisors are paid on average around 206.28 rupees. In the supervisor category, a male supervisor earns an hourly wage of around 461.89 rupees, while a female supervisor gets 375.29 rupees. According to the newly released Monster Salary Index India IT Sector Report 2014, which was put together by online job portal Monster, IIM Ahmedabad and Paycheck.in, in both non-supervisor and supervisor categories, women earn 18 to 20% less than men. The report points out that this gender pay gap could possibly result from factors such as women not being preferred for IT jobs that requires night shifts, socio-cultural reasons such as a male employee refusing to work under women, and that many employers have preconceived notions about the job capabilities of women experience in the job. As a result of this, women are not preferred for promotions, and thus a sort of crowding at the lower end of the occupation hierarchy is seen. The report also says that IT industry in India faces a severe gender gap also in terms of number of women in the payroll. According to a survey by Monster.com, only 30% of the total IT workforce in India are women. Business Desk, DD News.
Well, news from the financial sector, the Reserve Bank of India has relaxed the rupees 1 lakh ceiling on loans for non-agriculture purposes against pledged gold and has left it to individual banks to decide on a lending cap. Reserve Bank of India retained the loan-to-value ratio at 75% of the value of gold and the tenor of the loan to be 1 year.
The board-approved policy may decide upon the ceiling with regard to the quantum of loans that may be granted against the pledge of gold jewellery and ornaments for non-agricultural end users. The Apex Bank said it has received representations from banks requesting to increase the prescribed ceiling and to review other conditions applicable for loans against the pledge of gold ornaments and jewellery where both interest and principal are payable at maturity. RBI added that the period of such loan should not exceed 12 months from the date of sanction. The loan to value shall be maintained at 75% throughout the tenure of the loan, which means that the borrower will get loan only to the extent of 75% of the value of gold pledged. Interest will be charged to the account on monthly basis and may be recognized on accrual basis provided to the account is classified as a standard account. RBI added that the norm would also apply to existing loans. The move may help commercial banks increase their retail secured lending portfolio. Many large commercial banks, including leading public sector lenders, had actively used this channel. However, with the increased volatility in gold prices and the clampdown on gold imports by hiking duty, RBI intervened and restricted such lending by banks. Business Bureau, DD News.
Well, news from the aviation sector. The Indian aviation industry is all set to add 6 new airlines to its bag. Union Aviation Ministry has issued no objection certificates to 6 new airlines, of which 3 are national airlines. These airlines will now have to approach the DGCA for a license to launch their operations, which might take another 3 months. We'll bring you this report.
Overturning a policy of selectively granting aviation licenses to applicants, the Civil Aviation Ministry has approved 6 new airlines. The Aviation Ministry, headed by Ashok Gajapati has given thumbs up to these new airlines. In fact, the approvals for these airlines were pending for a long time, and after a long wait, these airlines could get no objection certificates by the government. The new airlines include Air One, Premier Air, Zexes Air, Turbo Megha, Air Carnival, Zav Airways and the Tata Singapore Airlines joint venture. 3 of the new approvals are for national airlines. Most of these airlines are expected to start operations by the fiscal year end, while the joint venture between Tata and Singapore Airlines might begin by this calendar year end. Now that the certificate has been obtained, the airlines have to approach the Director General of Civil Aviation to receive the airline license, which might take up to 3 months. Right now, India has 8 airlines and adding 6 more is likely to stoke competition, leading to lower fares for consumers and at the same time improve connectivity across the country. It is interesting to see that the aviation entrepreneurs are excited to launch their operations in India despite the national aviation industry running in losses. The combined losses of existing airlines in India are expected to touch $1.4 billion in the current fiscal year, according to a report by consultancy firm Center for Asia Pacific Aviation. Combined losses for Indian Airlines were $1.77 billion in the last fiscal year, while accumulated losses of the last 7 years have reached $10.6 billion. Overall, it is exciting to see new faces in the aviation industry. But what could be the competition between them in the future is a major question, and time decides the same. Business Desk, DD News.
Well, the World Bank press conference has just ended in the capital. Remember, the World Bank president, Jim Yong Kim, is on a 3-day visit to the country. This is his first visit in the country after the Modi government took charge. Today is his last day of the visit in the country. We are joined by our correspondent Salvia Chaudhary. So, Salvia, what happened in the press conference?
Well, Sidhant, the press conference is currently on and the question-answer round is going on. But I'll tell you, the World Bank president, Jim Yong Kim, was quite excited, and he said that he had a very fascinating 3-day tour of India. Well, be given it the Chennai visit he had, where there are more than 700 staff for the World Bank. He earlier met yesterday in New Delhi with the finance minister. He also termed the meeting very productive, and he said that he tried to understand the development priorities of the newly formed government. He congratulated both finance minister, and a little while ago, before coming for the press conference, he met the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he said that he had the very inspiring meeting in all these years with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he said after meeting him, he's very confident that the development goals of the country would be reached, and world will be closely watching India given the fact that promises that have been made by the newly formed government. And he said he's confident that the government will be able to achieve the targets. He said that the Prime Minister Modi also emphasized on the skill, scale and speed which he has been talking about in his manifesto also, and after taking over also. And he said that he emphasized with him as well, Mr. Kim, about that, the skill, scale and speed, and has given specific assignments to the World Bank, saying particularly in regard to jobs, clean, livable cities, cleaning Ganga. These were some specific assignments that has been talked about during the meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And he said that the World Bank will be providing the data and insight for achieving this target of going forward with skill, scale and speed. And he was he said that the World Bank will be helping India in achieving the growth target because of 9%, which dropped to about 4.7% last year we saw, and the growth target World Bank has clearly said that will be helping in achieving the target of 9%.
Salvia, I'd like to add that did the World Bank president talk about the BRICS Bank, given the fact that already the IMF has reacted on it, obviously welcoming it. So did he have something to say on the BRICS Bank? Any reaction from the World Bank?
Right, Sidhant. There was, he said that he welcomes the BRICS Bank development, the launch of the making of the BRICS Bank that will come up, and where the first president will be from India, but he has welcomed that move, and he said that the World Bank will provide any kind of technical assistance and knowledge, whatever will be needed for the BRICS Bank to go forward, because the developing countries, he said, need infrastructure development, and therefore the World Bank will be providing any kind of technical assistance and also knowledge. He clearly said that the emphasis of there's no competition between the BRICS Bank and the World Bank out there, but the basic competition, only competition is with poverty. The poverty eradication is the main motive of the World Bank. So there's no competition with the BRICS Bank that will be coming up sooner. So he has welcomed that move about that.
Thank you so much, Salvia. So the World Bank press conference just underway in the capital, and today is the last day of the World Bank president's tour of India. His first visit since the new government, the Modi administration took charge, and of course lots of things happening. He met with the Prime Minister today. Yesterday he met with the Finance Minister, and on the first day of his tour to India, he started by visiting various World Bank sponsored projects in Chennai, down south in Chennai. So lots happening. Hopefully we'll see other developments happening after the press conference comes to an end. Meanwhile, let's go to other top business stories of the day, and let's start with the story that the government today asserted that no gas from Reliance Industries Eastern Offshore KG-D6 block was being supplied to Bangladesh. In the run-up to the general election, Aam Aadmi Party had alleged that RIL's partner Nico Resources was selling KG-D6 gas in Bangladesh for half the price, that's $4.2 per million British thermal unit rates that India pays them. Jet Airways has said that it will turn profitable by 2017 under a plan made in association with its new investor Etihad Airways. The airlines will cut costs and consolidate in 2015 and 2016 to achieve its target. On May the 24th, Naresh Goyal controlled airline had reported its highest annual loss of more than 4,000 crore rupees in financial year 13-14. Aircel has announced its launching of its 3G services in Itanagar and Harlaun, which the customers can avail on their mobile phones or via Aircel's 3G dongles. As part of its services, Aircel has launched a new offer, 3G Good Morning, where customers will get unlimited data free and browse up to 100 megabytes, that's MB, with 3G data speed daily between 4 AM to 8 AM. As many as 398 Special Economic Zones or SEZs have not yet started operations despite getting necessary approvals, Commerce and Industry Minister Nirmala Sitharaman told Rajya Sabha on Wednesday. Replying to supplementaries during question hour, she said that setting up of SEZs is a long-term process and time for completion of the project depends on several issues. Well, in a crackdown on unauthorized money pooling schemes promising high returns, SEBI has barred Sai Prasad Corporation and its directors from raising funds from public and from launching any new investment plans. The firm and its 3 directors were allegedly running collective investment schemes in the name of its joint venture participation business for development of land. A PwC report says more than half of its financial services CEOs globally are planning to raise the headcount by at least 5% in the coming year as recovery in the developed markets gather pace and confidence in the sector improves. Some international news. China has detained 5 people as part of its probe into a firm that allegedly supplied out-of-date meats to fast food chains including McDonald's and KFC. State-run Xinhua news agency said that 5 were held by the Shanghai police but did not give any further details. Chinese regulators suspended operations of the Shanghai Husi food earlier this week after reports in the local media claimed it's reprocessed expired meat. Apple reported quarterly profit of $7.75 billion, up 12% on this same period last year. The company sold 35.2 million iPhones from the March to June, an increase of 13% from the same time in 2013. The company is seeing strong growth in the BRICS country, that's Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa and especially China, where iPhone sales rose up to 48%. US and European airlines suspended flights to Israel's Ben Gurion airport after a rocket landed 1 mile away. The US Federal Aviation Administration or FAA ordered 3 US carriers that fly to Israel, Delta, United and US Airways to halt flights for 24 hours. Europe's aviation regulator is also urging airlines to not fly to Tel Aviv. The suspension prompted Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to ask US to renew its flights to Israel. Well, technology giant Microsoft reported a 7% fall in profit during the second quarter. The company said profit during the March to June period was $4.6 billion. Microsoft said its Nokia division, which it acquired in April, lost $692 million. Last week, Microsoft announced it would cut 18,000 jobs, the biggest round of job cuts in the company's 39-year history. Well, back home, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj today gave a statement in the Parliament on the BRICS summit held recently in Brazil. She briefed both the houses of Parliament about the outcome of the summit.
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस बात पर भी जोर दिया है कि संयुक्त राष्ट्र में वर्ष 2014 के उपरांत विकास एजेंडे में गरीबी समाप्त करने पर अवश्य ध्यान केंद्रित किया जाना चाहिए। उन्होंने वैश्विक अभिशासन संस्थाओं, जिनमें संयुक्त राष्ट्र सुरक्षा परिषद भी शामिल है, में सुधारों की अति आवश्यकता और महत्व पर भी बल दिया। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री ने ऑनलाइन शिक्षा, किफायती स्वास्थ्य देखभाल मंच, एक वर्चुअल ब्रिक्स विश्वविद्यालय, लघु एवं मध्यम उद्यम, पर्यटन, एक दूसरे के देश में युवाओं के आने जाने और विज्ञान एवं प्रौद्योगिकी जैसे क्षेत्रों में अंतर ब्रिक्स सहयोग को मजबूत करने के लिए कई नए प्रस्ताव भी किए।
Well, with just over a week left for Eid al-Fitr celebrations, one of the biggest religious festivals of the Muslims, shoppers are flocking to various markets. This despite high inflation. Take a look at this report.
Engaged in shopping frenzy ahead of the upcoming festival of Eid al-Fitr, Muslims across India hit the markets in large numbers amid rising prices. The festival of Eid would mark the end of the holy fasting month of Ramadan. People of all ages thronged markets decorated with colourful buntings. Various stalls have been set up offering wide range of clothing as well as confectionery for the special occasion of Eid. Zealous savers have turned into buyers, while the middle class customers are seen visiting makeshift stalls where clothes and other items for the festival are sold at cheaper prices compared to big showrooms. India is expected to celebrate Eid, the biggest Islamic festival, a day after the end of Ramadan. The month of Ramadan is celebrated to honor the angel Gabriel's revelation of the Quran, the holy scripture of Islam, to the Prophet Muhammad at a meditation retreat in a cave about 1400 years ago. Muslims eat an elaborate breakfast known as Sehri before they begin their day-long fast for the month and visit the mosque for the morning prayers Fajr. People in Kanpur city of northern Uttar Pradesh flocked the markets to purchase new clothes and traditional vermicelli, which occupy a special place in every Indian Muslim's household in the splendid Eid meal offered to friends and family. Families spend time together on the Eid day, exchanging gifts and sharing meals. Eid is a time for visiting friends and family and receiving guests. It is customary for Muslims to buy new clothes and accessories for the festive occasion. Muslim men flaunt their check white dresses with caps at the early morning Eid prayer, while women and children donning stylish attires clubbed with jewelry add the charm to the whole household. However, in wake of the spiraling inflation, the shopkeepers are not doing brisk business as the privileged few are on the shopping spree.
ईद की तैयारी पूरी करे हुए हम लोग, सिमाई की दुकान लगाए हुए हैं, दुकानदारी कुछ हुआ ही नहीं और ईद का इंतजार करा जा रहा है, चांद रात का इंतजार किया जाएगा.
Celebrating Eid is the culmination of the holy month of Ramadan, and Muslims thank Allah for the help and strength bestowed upon them throughout the pious period to help them practice self-control. Fasting, charity, daily prayers, the declaration of faith and pilgrimage to Mecca are the 5 pillars of Islam. Business Desk, DD News.
Well, continuing with the news from the World Bank Chief Jim Yong Kim met with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the capital today. After meeting, the World Bank President said that he had a productive meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He added that meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi was most inspiring. World Bank President also welcomed the development of the formation of the BRICS Bank. Yong Kim is on a 3-day visit to India, and he is right now addressing a press conference. Meanwhile, lots of things coming from the press conference, including the fact that the World Bank President said that World Bank will provide 15 to 18 billion US dollar credit to India in over next 3 years. So big development, big news story breaking at this moment. Let's continue with the bulletin, and let's finish the bulletin actually with a recap of the main business stories. Markets end at record highs after 7th day of gains in a row. Sensex gains more than 100 points. Nifty ends a tad below the 7,800 mark. TCS market capitalization shoots past 5 lakh crore rupees. The IT major is now way ahead of the combined market cap of IT service players like Infosys, Wipro and HCL. Transport Minister Nitin Gatkari says all grey areas in speeding up road PPP projects will be resolved before August the 15th. Finance Secretary Arvind Mayaram says government working on a sophisticated framework for PPP model to boost infrastructure development. And is the Indian industry biased against women? A survey suggests only 30% of the total IT sector workforce in India are women. Women also faces a huge gender pay gap of 29%. Well, that's all in this edition of Business Lab. Thanks for investing your time with us. Bye-bye.